Welcome back, everybody, to WWTA News. Thank you for joining us again for another episode. I'm not going to waste any time. I'm just going to dive in. I've got an article to check out and share with you guys, then some other information I want to talk about. So let's not waste any time. Let's get into this video or this episode and let's find out what is going on. First article: Colorado now accepts crypto payments for state taxes. This is an institutional adoption. That's what we're looking at here. Another state in the United States accepting crypto for payments, right? Nothing big there. Residents of the U.S. State of Colorado can now pay their taxes in the form of cryptocurrency. According to Colorado's Department of Revenue, payments can be made via PayPal. Though at this time, only personal accounts may be used. PayPal supports Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, and Litecoin. To make such payment, a fee of $1 as well as 1.83% of the total amount will be charged per the DOR site. It goes on to say, as a state, we're on the forefront of digital innovation. Whether it's applying blockchain and shared ledger technology as a new model for funding, or whether it's simply being consumer friendly and making sure that we allow for the kind of innovation that will disrupt legacy business practices and government practices to make them more efficient, Polis said during an event this week, according to the Denver Business Journal. So the first thing I want to say here is, this is not the first article and it is not the last article where we're going to hear about institutional adoption. It's 2022 is a very interesting year. We're seeing this ramp up of activities, right? To me, it's a ramp. It's like a ramp up. Something's about to happen. And that's how I feel about it based on all these articles that I read and we talk about it and I share to you all because that's what it looks like. Now, I really think that 2023 is going to be the year of institutions. I really believe that. So when I see this, and we're only in September of 2022, we got a ways to go, right? We've got a ways to go before we close out this year, but the adoption still looks like it's going to be a massive thing. All right, so 2023, in my opinion, looks like the year of institutional adoption, even though it apparently is happening in 2022 as we get ready to close out this year. This article says NASDAQ to offer crypto custody for institutional investors. NASDAQ announced that it will launch a new group dedicated to digital assets in a bid to attract institutional clients. Tal Cohen, the company's executive president and head of North American markets, said that the new group will initially offer custody services for Bitcoin and Ethereum. So clearly here, they're preparing by getting ready to get institutional clients. So they know institutional money is headed on into this system. So it's a recurring theme here, but as we look in 2022, it's been a shaky, rough year, and it's like, what's really going on? And as we continue to just let these articles come out as they do, it's looking like institutional adoption is right there about to happen. The increased appetite for cryptocurrencies, institutional and accredited investors have shown, has pushed the company's heads to explore the new market. In an interview with Bloomberg, Cohen said that custody was foundational for the company as it represents a jumping board for other offerings. And there it is. There it is, right? Let's get into space. We know the gateway drug has always been Bitcoin. Let's get into this space because a lot of things are going to happen. And again, we're talking institutions about to make their way in. Now, why would institutions come in? The only reason institutions are going to come into this space is because of legislation. Legislation. So keep that in the back of your minds. Institutions are getting in when the legislation says, yes, you can get in. So that means some stuff has to be dropped to make this a legal thing that can happen. They're not getting in here without that legislation. So in the back of your mind, remember, it's going to take legislation for them to get in. So that means something is definitely about to go down. So we're going to talk ISO 20022, right? I'm going to read a few things to you. We're going to discuss a few things. We're going to look at a few things, but I want you all to see the bigger picture and just absorb everything going on. So in this article, it says ISO 20022 protocol is a standard for electronic data interchange between financial services in the payment industry. It is based on DLT, aka Distributed Ledger Technology, and uses ISO 20022 as a messaging mechanism. Some of you already know about this. Some of you are probably clueless, but you're going to learn today what all this stuff is so you understand why I keep saying that we're looking at institutions as soon as possible. Something is coming down the pipeline, whether it be by the close of this year or the opening of next year. Something big is going down. ISO 20022 is a more advanced format based on the XML protocol and the abstract syntax notation 1, also known as ASN.1, specification for bank communication. Again, we're talking institutions, which meets the ISO 20022 standard for financial messaging. It better reflects today's financial activities and transactions locally, regionally, and globally. Banks worldwide have already committed to this worldwide regulatory framework, which backs SWIFT and the Federal Reserve. And as we move toward this new quantum financial system, any third party that wants to interact with banks must be able to use the ISO 20022 format. If you want to conduct business with SWIFT or the Federal Reserve, you're going to be having to use ISO 20022 format. I'm going to read that one more time. Matter of fact, you're going to get this one more time so you can understand institutions, important, what's going on, make moves. Banks worldwide have already committed to this worldwide regulatory framework, which backs SWIFT and the Federal Reserve. And as we move toward this new quantum financial system, any third party that wants to interact with banks must be able to use the ISO 20022 format. If you want to interact with banks, you're going to need ISO 20022. With the financial sector on the same page worldwide, there's no question that ISO 20022 will be a significant catalyst for investors. All right, this is how is ISO 20022 changing in 2022? Well, interesting. How is it? Banks and financial institutions worldwide are entering a new era as they gear up to switch their payment systems from using SWIFT messages to ISO 20022, a much more structured and data-rich financial messaging standard. In 2025, ISO will be the global standard. One more time. In 2025, ISO will be the global standard for high or large value payment systems in all reserve currencies, and it will handle 80% of transactions and 87% of transactions value globally. The European Central Bank and SWIFT have announced the ISO 20022 go-live dates for the standard. Now, before anyone goes crazy and says, no, why is that? So let's cancel a few things out of the equation. Everybody loves Bitcoin, and everybody's like, oh my God, yeah, with Bitcoin, they've got the new, what do they got, this new system with Bitcoin where they can make payments? Yeah, Try to send Bitcoin anywhere, see how long it takes you, right? It's not really reliable and trustful. All right. Okay, Ethereum. Yeah. Oh, Ethereum just moved to proof of stake, so that's going to make things a little bit easier, better, faster, and efficient. Yep. Right. Not really happening. Go make some transactions with Ethereum. That's pretty much for smart contracts. And even still, when it comes to smart contracts, there are other blockchains that can do that better. You even have XLM getting on board with smart contracts, and look into things like that. Nobody's going to want to use. All right. So let's look at this. When you start dealing in ISOs, you start seeing transaction fees of 0.000 and then a number. When you deal in transactions with like Ethereum, Bitcoin, and stuff like Litecoin, I haven't seen Litecoin in a long time, so let me just leave that alone. I can talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum. The transaction fees are high, and the transaction times are slow. Ethereum's transactions have gotten a little bit faster, but it's still really not important as far as efficiency. So let's continue. Now here we're going to look at what's going on that they have planned out for the dates. So let's see. If you look here, we've got countries and regions worldwide are migrating at a different pace. For many banks, the migration will happen in various stages during a period of up to 5 years, right? Several low value and instant payment schemes have already migrated to ISO 20022. Okay, all right. So, November 2022, it says SWIFT. All financial institutions processing SWIFT MT category 1, 2, and 9 must process ISO 20022 by November 2022. We look here, November 2022 as well. It says Euro. The Big Bang, all Euro payments going through Target 2 will only be in ISO 20022 format from November 2022. Are you seeing what's happening here? We're talking about institutions. We're talking about big banks. We're talking about transactions crossing borders. You know what I'm saying? Let's look here. Something that happened in June 2022 that will continue through 2023. It says Bank of England, CHAPS, on a like-for-like basis in spring 2022, and for fully enhanced messaging will be in early 2023. So we're talking closing out 2022, and we're talking about going into 2023. What are we seeing? Institutional adoption. Now let's look at 2024. FedWire. Now we know about FedNow Wallet, right? But here, FedWire. It says through the clearinghouse, U.S. CHIPS and Fed plan enhanced ISO 20022 messaging through a Big Bang rather than via a phased approach, but currently redefining the strategy. They're planning to make their move in 2024. So all this is looking to be completed by 2025, right? That's what we're looking at. So 2022, 2023, and me, like I've said before, it kind of looks like a 4-year cycle. Apparently everything should be done, and 2025 should be one of the highest value growth years of all time. But we're going to see some changes financially closing out the year of 2022. For those of us who have been in this space for quite some time and that are familiar with ISOs, we're going to see a lot of changes financially and value in 2023. We're going to see a lot more in 2024. In 2025, we're going to see the craziest numbers. We won't believe it. People that are getting in 2023, 2024, they're still going to become very rich by value, because they're going to wake up just enough time to make these, to get into this system. I mean, it's crazy when you start thinking about this stuff, but we're talking institutional adopt. All right, so the clearinghouse. CHIPS is the largest private sector USD clearing system in the world, clearing and settling 1.8 trillion in domestic and international payments per day. CHIPS provides fast and final payments and the most efficient liquidity savings mechanism available today. Its patented algorithm matches and nets payments, resulting in an extremely efficient clearing process. This large value payment system has more than 40 participants and is the private sector counterpart to FedWire. You see how these two things go hand in hand? So because of this, we're going to see all this supposedly come together by 2024, and then that's when we're going to see the United States make their big change. So we're going to see overall, when we start talking about value for those of us in this crypto space, we're going to start seeing a steady growth increase moving forward from the close of 2022, and I'm just speculating, from 2022 all the way up to a crazy freaking straight to the moon in 2025. And this is what it looks like. I could be wrong. Hey, things happen. But based on everything that, articles that we've been reading over these months, seeing what's going on with crypto, and it to me, I can only see it going this way. I'm speculating that as we close 2022, we're going to start to see an increase going upward. It's going to be steady through 2023. It's going to be steady through 2024. And then we're going to see a nasty spike to the moon in 2025. And I'm speculating. Don't hold me to it, but man, it looks like that's what we're looking for. It also goes to say CHIPS liquidity saving mechanism is the most efficient in the world. This study describes how CHIPS is highly efficient in its use of liquidity compared to other major payment systems around the world, and effectively serves as the liquidity savings mechanism for the entire United States large value payment system. It also underscores the nature of CHIPS as an early settlement system that reduces operational risk for participants, end users, and the financial system generally, and distinguishes CHIPS as a critical element of the nation's payments infrastructure. So keep all these things in mind. All of these institutions, nations, countries, banks, they're going into ISO 20022. The following cryptocurrencies are ISO 20022 compliant as of when this article was drawn up: Stellar, Lumens, XLM, Hedera, Hashgraph, HBAR, IOTA, also MIOTA, XDC Network, which we know as XDC, Ripple's XRP, Algorand, and Quant. This is not all of them. This is just a small list from what I'm aware of. Here we are, in September 2022. There are more, and you would have to do your research, but you can go look at Stellar and see what's running off of Stellar and exists now. And I'm just giving you an idea. You can go look at Algorand and see what's running off of Algorand right now. And then you can start making your moves into these spaces, because ISO compliant institutional adoption, that's where we're going. It goes on to say each of these cryptos was developed to make global transactions more accessible. And because of this, they could comply with the ISO 20022 standard more quickly. However, as more cryptos do not want to be left out of the worldwide payment sector and move toward ISO 20022 compliance, this list will only expand. And just because they follow ISO 20022 doesn't necessarily mean they're suitable invest. Ripple is an excellent example of crypto with numerous disadvantages compared to benefits, and Helena Margarito encourages you to avoid it. Now, I don't know who Helena Margarito is, but she's telling us to get rid of our XRP. Hedera is a fascinating penny coin with a lot of potential that you can learn more about here, and it certainly belongs on your watch list. These picks were hand chosen by our team of experts. If you're searching for penny coins that are flash, do your own research. Don't trust anybody. I'm just reading an article and helping you all see the bigger picture, but don't let anybody push you in any direction. Take the information and do what you need to do with it. It's your world, do what you got to do, but let's just always keep up with what's going on, right? So what impact will ISO 20022 have around the world? It is anticipated that this worldwide acceptance of similar financial messaging will significantly influence financial institutions, companies, and any organization with a stake in the finance and large value payment sector. Over 70 countries have adopted ISO 20022 in their payment systems, including Switzerland, China, India, and Japan. And with over 200 payment types in scope, it will harmonize formats and data components from different payment methods that could not previously work together. It says, a guide to ISO 20022 migration journey. ISO 20022 is a standardized global language for financial messaging. It covers trade, card payments, securities, and FX. ISO 20022 is set to be the de facto standard for high-value payment systems of all reserve currencies. By 2023, ISO 20022 will account for 80% volumes of high-value transactions and 87% value of high-value transactions. It also goes on and says countries and regions worldwide are migrating at a different pace. For many banks, the migration will happen in various stages during a period of up to 5 years, which we just discussed, we were reading earlier. This includes Switzerland, China, India, and Japan. Several low-value and instant payment schemes have already migrated to the ISO 20022, which we know. Singapore currently defining their strategy in 2022. Quarter one of 2022, Hong Kong got together their strategy. We saw Bank of England, Q2 2022, Euro, November 2022, Australia, November. Now, Australia, we just saw is using USDC on the Stellar Lumens network. So interesting, right? US 2024 and Swift also in November 2022. All right, it says with 200 payment types in scope, ISO 20022 will bring a number of benefits, efficient sanctions and AML validations, increases automatic reconciliation, improves STP rated and reduces cost. Let's see, better regulatory reporting, improves liquidity monitoring, claims and investigations more effective. So some of the important things there is you're not going to cheat the system when you're on ISO 20022. You can't cheat the system. Everything's going to be recorded and it's going to be public knowledge. So you're not scapegoating. You're not going to get away from paying the money you have to pay out, whatever it is. As far as big banks are counted, there's no cheating. The cheating is over. Everybody now gets a level playing field with ISO 20022. All right, what banks must do to stay ahead of the competition? Swift technological shift from MT to ISO 20022 will be complete. Banks will need to upgrade their messaging interfaces and testing before November 2022. To ensure they are compatible with the new payment communication standard. Banks are under competitive strain to migrate to the ISO 20022 standard, as the overall migration of the payment industry toward immediate payments makes their existing goods and services vulnerable. This is why we saw Verifone having to onboard their hardware to stores by the close of 2021, because the banks are going to be receiving money and transact. You're not going to cheat as a store, as a business. You're not cheating. All your transactions are going to be recorded. So they're definitely going ISO for those reasons we just saw, but they're definitely going ISO. Be a fool and miss this. Because ISO 20022 is a more modernized and versatile standard than conventional legacy formats, it requires significantly greater data volume processing. As a result, bank system and databases will need to be capable of handling these larger volumes at quicker speeds for real-time payments, daily liquidity management, compliance checks, and fraud detection and prevention. So, when we think about what's going on, so as we look at their need for servers, we can look at some of the big companies out there, the big names out there that are actually increasing their server capabilities and having new server systems built. Some of these companies are Facebook and Amazon on the East Coast of the United States. I'm actually aware that they're building those server database centers, and so they're getting amped up for what's coming, this ISO 20022, because a lot of payment information and tracking is going to come through that. So this is a new system. It is here. We're going to see it November 2022. In the United States, we're probably not going to really see it until 2024. So be prepared, because they're going to onboard this and you're going to start doing all your transactions more than likely in an ISO 20022 blockchain or network setup. Let's continue. It says, it's critical to allow enough time for testing so that syntax and formatting information is accurate and the data's migration into all linked payments and clearing systems. Testing should ideally be completed by the second quarter of 2022 at the latest. Banks must inform their corporate customers about the additional data that may be accessible, as well as how it will be utilized. In addition, those clients should be completely informed and involved in end-to-end testing. So they got a timeline here. You can go ahead and screen capture and do some reading yourself to see that timeline. And it goes on to say high-value payments, HVPs, on ISO 20022 to establish a roadmap to standardization for high-value payments and real-time gross settlement. The Swift Global Central Banks and Market Infrastructures have established the HVPS Market Practice Task Group. By unifying messaging standards across HPVs, participants in the payment system will be able to benefit from efficiencies and lay the groundwork for new services. Michael Knorr from Wells Fargo Bank's head of payments and liquidity management for financial institutions. To stay on top of these high-value payment systems, you'll need a solution to keep track of them. HVP systems are crucial to international finance. So monitoring these significant value transfers with the Appropriate monitoring and performance management solution is critical. Here's another screenshot. You can capture that and then take a look at it on your own time. And so, yeah, major. That's it. It's major. This is institutional adoption. This is what we're looking at going through 2022, starting in 2023 and making our way to 2024. We're going to see something crazy happen in 2025. But in the meantime, for those of us who have been in this space, get ready for the ride, because we're going to start seeing that increase. Whether it starts towards the end of this year, like I suspect, maybe in December, we're going to start seeing that increase. And that incline is going to take us from December, in my personal opinion, just speculating, all the way through 2023, with that slight increase carrying us all the way up throughout the whole year to 2024, doing the same thing with the same increase continuing to go to where we get to 25, and we see that crazy jump just going straight to the top. To the moon, as they say, to the moon. So I'm going to close with that. You all look at the information, share your thoughts, ideas, start talking with your family, get them prepared, because we might be looking at something major for the immediate future. I could be wrong, but like I said, just reading all these things and sharing all this information with you all, it just puts me in the mindset that we're about to see something crazy, and we don't want to get left and we don't want to miss the boat. So do your own research. Take what you've seen here, investigate a little bit deeper, share your thoughts, get everybody talking. I'll catch you all in the next episode.